Okay, here we are. We're good. Okay, so first and foremost, Professor, many thanks for finding the time to share some of your ideas with us today and giving us this interview. For those of our viewers who are less involved in robotics in Italy, could you give us a presentation of your various activities and also those of the iRIM and Tech for Care, the projects there?
Hi, I'm afraid connection is not so good today, but I can definitely start.
Sure.
Yeah. So the community in robotics and intelligent machines more generally in Italy is very lively. There is a lot of research going on, and there is a lot of industrial activities that go into that. If you look at robotics from a broader point of view than just things that look like humans, but you think of robotics as the general field where you have systems with perception and ability to action that are linked by intelligence, then definitely there is a lot of activities in Italy. Italy is actually one of the leading countries in manufacturing and machines for manufacturing. That makes for a big chunk of intelligent machines. And robotics, of course, is also strong. There is a lot of work there. There is a lot of work on in research labs and also in industries. And again, there are plenty of industries that may not call their products robots themselves, but they are intelligent machines that autonomously decide, based on sensing, what actions to do. So overall, it's a very lively field, which is somehow underrepresented in the media or in the understanding of people, because there was no single point of contact for the community. So that is the reason why roughly 1 year ago the community started to build an institute where all people doing robotics in Italy under different brands gather together. And this is the Institute of Robotics and Intelligent Machines. And in this institute, we have all researchers that come from different backgrounds, engineering, but also computer science, and also physics, and even psychology or ethics, and all those that are interested in the very different aspects that are in robotics, together with industrialists and practitioners. So this body of people were gathered together in a first conference that we held in October in Rome. We organized this together with Maker Faire, and that was a big success. We had a large number of participants in the conference, very distinguished speakers, a nice program, very much connected to the fair. And so we had a nice exposition. The overall number of visitors to our booths and to our area was incredibly high. So this what happens is that, of course, then the COVID came, and yes, and everything has been disrupted or changed, I would say.
Completely.
In this phase, we have found a new goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Institute has been, in the last couple of months, the Institute has been focusing a lot on how we can respond to the emergency in many different ways, which are both of short-term, long-term, and medium-term perspective. So one of the concerns was that we need to have a technology that demonstrates that when the need is there, we are able to provide solutions that might not be, the definite ultimate solutions, but are there, and they can do useful things. So to do this, we realized that it was important to have a structure to merge research with the possibility to implement, and to implement now and not in 2 years from now, but now today, and not in one lab or few labs, but in all the hospitals or all the factories where the need for safe conditions for going on, for producing, for assisting are needed. Then we realized that it was important that those who do research in labs meet with those that do industry, and especially those also that are passionate about technology, and most important, those who have the needs. And then we built this initiative that you mentioned already, that is Tech for Care, which is an initiative where we basically made a coalition together with people from the field that we investigated, where we investigated their needs through questionnaires, and with people in the maker field, those who are able to produce, to build, to hack, in some cases, technology. That is the idea of this Tech for Care, is to put together needs and solutions through the help of those who can build a solution.
Good. And has it been, this Tech for Care, has it been very instrumental in the fight against COVID-19?
Well, of course, if you think of the fight against COVID-19, that is huge, complex problem, and it basically, and it is clear that what really would help with that is a vaccine, and probably not a robot. So I mean, with some modesty and some humble approach, we think that robots can provide some help, especially in relieving a little bit the stress of people that are in our hospitals. That is probably number one. Helping doctors and to relieve them a little bit from the fatigue and from the risk of serving their. Of course, our technology can also help to keep people to be too close in contact. For instance, using bracelets and sensors to alert people that they are getting too close. And or for instance, we have also other solutions that have been proposed and are in the Tech for Care, whereby you use our technologies to tell people when they are going to touch their face, and they prevent you from touching your face by simply making something vibrate in your handhold wrist watch. So little things, simple things. These are not the humanoids that we dream of every day in our labs, and we build in our labs, but it is something concrete. Of course, we keep the idea that we have to work on the most advanced robots for helping in the next phase. And this is indeed something that we are seeing a lot in this country, but probably elsewhere, that robotics are now really becoming hot again, because when you realize that it is important to be able to do something for people or even for work without being there, because you cannot be in there because of the risks that are in being there, being at risk of contagion, for instance, then you realize how robots could really help you in keeping production, for instance, in our industries.
Sure, completely. For example, I saw the UVD robots from Denmark. They're a disinfecting robot, which is an excellent device which can completely disinfect entire areas of hospitals or other workspaces without the risk of exposing the healthcare workers to any risk of contagion. And if we have more like this, it will definitely improve the situation.
Yeah, what we can do today is limited basically by the availability of the technology to the people, because we have solutions that could do better, but those solutions are not available in the numbers. We cannot buy them off the shelf. So to answer today's needs, you have to have something that is on the shelves already. And that is why the solutions that we have, we are proposing in this Tech for Care repository are solutions for the short term that use off-the-shelf material with available software that we put there as open source and that people can actually build today. But the next term, mid-long term, we will need something better. For instance, sanification that you mentioned. What we can do today is a mobile robot base that has a UV lamp, for instance, and goes around and sanifies the environment. But the problem with sanification is often with surfaces that have shadows in their shape, so that the UV don't get there. So in those cases, for instance, think of handles. Those handles you have to manually sanitize. Therefore, to do that with a robot, you have to have a robot that reaches to places and reaches difficult places also. So in those cases, you do need arms, and those arms will be needed, and this will develop even further the European use of robots, especially cooperative robots, that will be used even more. Given that cooperative robotics is a technology that is dominated by European industry, currently, basically, the main producers are in Europe for cooperative robots, then I think this is something where we will develop much further, because these are robots that will have to live with us in our homes, basically, or at least in our working environments. So there is a lot of need for robotics in the near future.
Yeah, because this brings me to the next question that about the journalist and philosopher Riccardo Luna. He wrote a rather provocative article in Il Sole 24 Ore, which was entitled "Where Did the Robots End Up?" Ma che fine hanno fatto i robot? Now, effectively, would professional robots for simple use not be so useful, even indispensable for tackling the current ongoing pandemic, for example?
I agree with you. I read that paper, and there is a little, how can I say? I can tell you this: what happened in the community. When that article came out, several people in the community felt the sting of that article. Where are those robots now? But for me, I was frankly, I was, and many others with me, I was in a position, yes, I've been thinking of that already. I asked that question myself.
Sure.
And the community and the institute asked that question exactly. Where are we now? What can we do now? Now, the question is, of course, I mean, that question is not naive. And at least you shouldn't give a naive answer to that. The real answer is that the technology that we have in the labs today and that you see on the media is something that is very advanced. It's sophisticated. It's humanoids. It's flying robots. It's something that we want to see in our future. Can go to help today, has to be on the shelves already. But luckily, we have been doing a lot of good technology in the last 10, 20 years that today is a product. And today, those products are on the shelves, and you can use. Think, for instance, of all the lawn mowers or the vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, the Roomba.
The Roomba. So the Roomba has a lot of intelligence. And, I happened to be in the lab where the Roomba was conceived. And it was a project, a research project. That was Rodney Brooks and Colin Angle and Helene Greiner that were doing that as a research project. Now, today is the product. Now, people like maybe Riccardo Luna discount that as a robot. Where is the robot? The only fact is that he's discounting them, not counting them as robots, because they are there. in the moment that a machine is with us, it has no longer the allure of robotics. It's no longer something that is a robot in the sense that we look forward to having it. But those things were made out of our laboratories maybe 10, 20 years ago, and today we can use them. And that's the reason why there are projects where you are using this technology and modify it, hack the software, change the software, and transform those Roombas into vehicles for bringing connection to people that are in the hospitals, or even for moving around items in the hospital corridors. So answer to Ricardo Luna is, robots are here. You're not seeing them now because you don't think of them when they are available.
It's true. It's true. They have become so much taken for granted as part of our everyday lives that they're not so visible. They're no longer considered as technological gadgets, but more everyday devices. And in reality, they are there. All they need to be is modified software, as you say, can be upgraded, can be tweaked, and but they're here. They really are here. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Now, I have a next question, last question,
and that holds for all technologies.
Sure, that's very true.
Yes,
very true. But yeah, the last question is, the concern is growing over the use of artificial intelligence for monitoring our state of health, our mobility, and other parameters for citizens. Do you share this concern?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. When I read what happens in China, for instance, everybody is concerned. Our way of life is very different from that. And it appears that the contingency that we are living now, the emergency that we are living in now, seems to push in a direction that we don't like. And I agree with that, and I share that concern. I wouldn't want to be ruled by the big brother that is creeping into our lives. I think that those concerns should be tackled with courage. It cannot be just defensive. If Europe only takes a defensive approach, then we will be lagging behind. I think we have to ride the wave and be bold enough to assert our values in producing new technology, not just regulating technology that others are producing.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is a major concern which we should be, let's say, involved with, and let's say keep an eye on exactly how much monitoring is going to be taking place in the future, because this big brother that you say is creeping into our lives is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it is something that, from the ethical point of view and the privacy point of view, we need to keep a very close eye on for the future, indeed. So, but anyway, Professor, that brings me to the end of my questions. So I'd like to thank you very much for sharing your opinions and your views and giving us all this information today. And look forward to speaking with you again sometime in the future. Okay, many thanks.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much for the good questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.